What's up, guys? I'm going to talk in this video about how to offer someone guidance. So guiding someone is very different than leading them. Very, very different than being a manager. But all three have similar aspects, and that's that you can't force someone to do a certain thing. You can't tell them anything. You have to let them walk on their own path. And you can't interfere with them because you have to let them kind of also be a person. So in guidance, you have to kind of just know which way they're going. You kind of help them get there to where they're going without interfering in their ability to do so themselves, self-autonomously, I guess I could say. If you're trying to lead, just know that they're a person too and they have their own thinking ability. So keep that in mind when doing what you do. And as a manager, just know what it is they're capable of and know what their job is. Just ensure they're doing their job. Maybe it's more of a general manager, but just kind of help them stay in line with what they're supposed to be doing. So with that being said, I traveled in South America for a while. It was very common to have guides, which is a whole different kind of guide, but it was very awesome. They were very good guides. They kept me on board with the tour, I'll say, and made it really interesting and fun and interactive more specifically. So I really felt like I was part of the experience. As far as leadership, I learned a lot at Shell. They had a great leadership program, and they taught me a lot through their course and their trainings, so I thought that was great. A leader to me, I guess, was John Holla. I looked up to him as someone who was very charismatic, but very much more of like a leader in regards to people. He dealt with people well, and people looked up to him and liked him. So I respected him as a boss in that aspect. As far as managers go, I had a manager, Julio. We used to work at Site Immune Sciences, and he was just the funniest guy. He was really smart. He didn't take it too seriously. And he was still really personable. Two things I want to point out. He was really easy to talk to, but it's because he didn't take it too seriously that he was really personable. So it was great. We did cancer research there, and he kind of would give me a scope, let me work out the scope of the project after having laid it out for me, and then review it with me afterwards to see how I did or what my thoughts were at least. And he critiqued me in his own way, in his own mind. So, but anyway, what I was saying was we'd have like formal presentations, I guess, where I'd present my data to him, and then he would do whatever he does from there. I'll get back on the different kinds. I'll go with the different kinds of guidance maybe you can give someone, and that's spiritual guidance, intellectual guidance. Maybe if you want to help them to achieve something, or personal guidance if you're just trying to help keep them on the right path. That's from my perspective. I've never worked as a tour guide, so I can't give you any other tips. But if you want to talk to someone about different kind of guidance, maybe seek down that person and try to find out. They can tell you what they know or teach you, because a lot of people, they love to. It's a great thing to share what you know with people, and you can revel in the feel-goodness of having taught someone. So, or the it's like an accolade, I guess is the best way to say, but I don't know how else to say it, so just the feel-good feeling. So anyway, if you want to teach formally, maybe find a specialty, or maybe just do it within the organization you do it already in, or maybe find a program where they allow it, but you can teach it in the way that you feel specific to an audience that is interested, because trying to teach to an audience that's not interested is just going to be a headache. So maybe put out what you want to do and the way you want to do it. I'd recommend some kind of learning material or some kind of visual presentation or aids or some kind of structure. Otherwise it gets confusing. It's hard to understand the material. But if you want to do it more of as a casual or an informal learning session, you can always do that too. You just talk off the cuff. The third is, if you're in an organization, I'd recommend having a standard procedure for all kind of downlay structure or organization to get it to the people who would need it in the organization. But anyway, that's just someone who's had experience in aspects of that, and all the aspects that I just mentioned. So third one is managerial. I've never been a manager, but if I was a manager, I would probably just want to make sure that everyone's doing their job. And I'd definitely be aware of their roles, check in on them, and just see how they're doing. And see, well, this is kind of strange but this is relevant. When I was offshore, I was kind of a manager. I was the engineer offshore, which is the technical role. So I was like the only guy from the office building offshore. So as far as what you think of when you think of like what a branch manager does, I was probably the closest thing to a branch manager offshore. Maybe save for the other reliability engineer, because we were kind of like the eyes and ears of like the business aspect of Shell, and or the company aspect of Shell. So, or at least we were people who had eyes and experience with the bigger picture, or eyes on the bigger picture and experience with the bigger picture. So, anyway, that was interesting. It's always come to me, or it was always kind of like seeing what people did and making sure they did their jobs right. And if there wasn't, you had to report back to the office, or call it back to the beach, as we call it, and write up whatever technical things need to be done to ensure that it gets done. So it was very much another thing about a managerial role, but the aspects are kind of the same. Don't step on anyone's toes, respect their job, and do yours. So if you do those three things, do well, make sure you interact with them, get to know what they, what kind of their interface is with your role, and just make sure that everything goes according to plan. First of all, from your position up, and second of all, from their position to you. So at our assets, safety was a huge priority. So we always kept in mind, and all the things we looked over for one of two reasons. One, preservation of revenue stream, which is oil production, and two was safety of people. So we wouldn't want anything to catch on fire. We wouldn't want anything to stop producing oil. So that's what we did. One thing I'll say generally is reliability, but that kind of falls into the category of not losing money. It's more in regards to not breaking the asset and not losing time. So that it can fall into waste work. It occupies the time of engineers that could use doing something else. So that, but also there's the other aspect of just getting to learn what it's like offshore, just getting to learn the environment and just learn to love it, getting used to the lifestyle offshore. And at the end of the day, you're all kind of in the same boat, so it's just an interesting shared experience. But anyway.